What is a Streetfighter? In the late 80s, it was a sport bike that was flopped off the road during a weekend ride and was deemed too pricey to fix properly. And in true 80s fashion, their owners decided to make the best of it and remove what was left of the bodywork, add a set of handlebars, and continue on as if nothing had happened. Then in the early 90s, manufacturers got involved and said, why wait for you to crash your bike when you could buy one pre-crashed from the factory? This led to Triumph Speed Triple, Ducati's M900 Monster, and Honda's incredibly bland CB600F. None of which really captured the essence of what a Streetfighter was in my mind until Ducati decided to call an ace and released the bike called the Streetfighter. The 1098 wasn't aggressive looking as it was to ride. It was dripping with style, and better yet, it had a personality to live up to its name. It was violent. Its power delivery came with heaps of torque, which made it challenging to ride slowly. The dry clutch had a heavy lever pull, which added to the challenge when trying to do anything other than ride it flat out. And the noise from that dry clutch caused many non-Ducati enthusiasts to question you at stoplights on whether or not your bike was mechanically sound enough to get you home. It also came with next to no rider aids, so you wanted to make sure you were awake when throwing your leg over the fire-breathing beast. I remember my first ride on a 1098 very well. I didn't realize that if you chopped the throttle too quickly, it would send Ducati's famously narrow tank straight back into your gentleman's region, causing instantaneous displeasure. I also remember getting off the bike thinking that this is the first bike I had ever ridden that is actually trying to kill me. It did, however, speak to me in one very important way. And that was, it was the most exciting bike that I had ever ridden. It was a motorcycle completely soaked in character. For this reason, I gained a deep appreciation for the 1098, and after I built a relationship with it, I realized what a capable motorcycle it was. It also embodied exactly what I felt Ducati was about, and that is building an experience. Ducati, however, inevitably pulled the plug on the Streetfighter due to weak sales, and it seemed as though the machine that I was so fond of was going to be faded into history. Now, though, it's back, and it's got a point to prove. First off, it really looks the part of a Streetfighter. I mean, in one word, it's angry. And I mean, if you look at all the little details they have too, they have these vents at the front of the tank that really don't need to be there, but they're there for you when you're driving it so you can see it. And then you look down further and you see the fins and you say, it's got fins on it. And they do serve a purpose, but I mean, what 10-year-old doesn't want fins on their motorcycle? I know I did. It's just really an exciting looking bike. The designer said that they took the visual inspiration from both the current V4 Panigale and the comic book villain, the Joker. I guess I can see it. It kind of looks like it's smirking in a I'm gonna tear your face off kind of way. The Joker comparison is weirdly appropriate for this bike in more ways than just the looks. Like the Joker, the Streetfighter always has something up its sleeve in the way that it delivers power, each a little more insane than the last. The base layer is smooth and shows signs of intellect, but gives you hints of insanity. As you begin to open the taps, it's like someone is flipping on a nuclear reactor. The bike really starts to pull. Now, here's the strange bit. You're tucked, you're on the throttle, you're thinking, man, I'm really starting to move. And then you look at the rev range. Well, it's at 7,000 RPM. It has a whole nother 7,000 RPM in it before you hit that red line. There's just so much more bike to this thing than you can ever really access on the road. Despite the apocalyptic amount of power, it doesn't ever feel like it's gonna get away from you. And the other thing that I'm pleased about is the way the bike turns in. It's encouraging you around corners. It kind of feels like the bike is whispering in your ear, come on, you can go faster. Compared to most large displacement bikes, which can leave you feeling like you need to convince them when you meet a corner, the Streetfighter is quite the opposite. It's very flickable, it's almost telepathic. I haven't ridden many bikes that give you the feeling of encouraging ultimate control, especially in one that delivers this much fight. Now, I'm not sure if it's the riding position or all the electronic aids in the background, but you really feel comfortable on this bike in a hurry. And because of that, I think it might be the best bike I've ever ridden. So, it would be safe to assume, once I save my pennies, I'll be buying one. That way I can enjoy this machine every day. You'd be wrong. See, there's one big problem I have with this bike, and that is it's not accessible on the road. You spend your whole time driving around in agony because you want to indulge, and you just can't. It's just too fast. Mr. Johnny Law was always in the back of my mind, and that sort of spoiled it for me. The truth is that this bike is perfect for someone who has more self-control than I do, and is able to ride like a human on the road until they arrive at their local racetrack so they can unleash the demon for a few hours before settling back down for the ride home. I must admit, my greatest fear when I heard Ducati was bringing back the Streetfighter was that with all the modern riding aids and technology, that it would be missing the drama that the old 1098 had, something that bike was all about. I am happy to report, however, the drama still exists. It has the character, it has the excitement, and it still provides the experience only Ducati can deliver.